The room is relationships. The room is you and me and everyone in America.
What are you talking about?
The room is different cookie cutter from Hollywood.
Yeah, man, you never know. People are very strange these days.
What's going on?
Welcome to The Room Minute.
The podcast where we get obsessed with the cinematic classic The Room.
1 minute at a time.
You have no idea what kind of trouble you're in here, do you?
Why are you so hysterical?
We always wanted people actually talk about it.
I did not hit her. It's not true. It's bullshit. I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
Oh, hi, listeners. I guess my usual co-host Allison will not be here this week, so I can't say hi to her. So I guess it's just you and I, listeners, unless someone else walks in. We're here to talk about The Room, minute 58, in which Denny sits on the floor for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, that was definitely my
hi, Eric.
takeaway. Oh, hi, Robert. Yeah, that's this, and it's also this crazy, camera move too. I mean, because he sits down behind the chair.
Yeah, there's a perfectly good couch there.
Exactly.
Oh, hi, Alice.
Oh, hi, Robert.
Yeah, this is a scene that Sandy Schklair spends a paragraph on in his book, Yes, I Directed the Room, which I have mentioned before.
Wow.
There are basically two reasons why Denny sits on the floor. One of them is somewhat practical. I'll just read you the thing. So Tommy left the stage after they were filming part of the rest of the scene. Yeah. This is Sandy Schklair. He says, he left the set to get a page of dialogue he wanted to add to the scene we just finished shooting, and the new page is with Lisa and Denny. In the scene we just finished shooting. Say what, who, how, reshoot the scene, draw them in digitally. I can't. Sandy Schklair writes weird sentences. I have neither the time nor the VFX personnel to make this happen. How? I'll tell you how. I simply pivoted the lights from the couch to the door, flipped the camera 180 degrees on its axis, and brought Lisa and Denny onto the set. Then I had them sit on the floor next to the door for their pointlessly inane, melodramatic moment. Why would I do this, you ask? Because the doorway was already lit, and that stage was a tiny fucking box. That's why.
Wow.
So they didn't have the lights on the couch area? I'm still really confused.
Yeah, because the way the scene was shot over by the fireplace, the lighting was different, but the doorway was already lit, because it's the open doorway. And so, practically speaking, Sandy had them point the cameras there and sit on the floor. And because Sandy is a chaotic asshole on the set, he also did it just to be, because he hadn't, as he says, where's the next line? It was the only place I hadn't shot yet. The floor behind the chair next to the door.
This corner.
Yeah, it was absurd and stupid and matched the dialogue. In other words, perfect.
That's hilarious.
So, he basically shot over there because it was lit, and why the fuck not? It's stupid. And that's the way Sandy got as this shooting went on, because he realized it was going to be horrible, and so he actively tried to make it more horrible. Which is one reason why, even though I like some of what Sandy has to say, I think he's a dick.
And a bad writer.
Yeah. He writes it like he's didn't type it. Like it's a transcript of him just ranting to a microphone.
Tommy was always like, ghost, is that his ghostwriter? Like, I don't understand.
Oh no.
Like he was dictating.
Tommy hates this guy.
Yeah.
This is the guy who says that he's the one who directed the movie. Tommy likes to claim director, and
oh, gotcha.
As producer, Tommy gave himself the director credit.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
Sandy is officially the, he only gets one actual credit in the movie. I forget. He did like 4 different jobs. I think he's script supervisor.
Well, imagine wanting to take credit for this. That's
right. That's the thing of his whole book is, yes, I directed The Room. Why not? Eventually he's going to take credit. But then Tommy has made YouTube videos that are sort of, secretly, because he doesn't say he's talking about Sandy, but basically attacking Sandy for the things he said.
Well, is he somehow does Tommy ever kind of give some kind of proof or some kind of, like I could envision him, going ahead and even recreating a scene or two or something, and showing that he can direct, can place the camera.
I think if Tommy had evidence of that, he'd present it, and because he had someone filming behind the scenes footage, so if he did, it would exist. Mm-hmm. So I think he doesn't have any good evidence of that.
I mean, did Sandy only come out with this, when it became a cult classic, like that's what I would, think too, where it's like, okay, now it's big, maybe you want that notoriety.
Yeah, Sandy's book, I think, came out only 2 years ago, so this is even like after The Disaster Artist became a movie, or right when The Disaster Artist was becoming a movie. Mm-hmm. So yeah, maybe it's why he finally spoke up. Whether or not that means he's lying, I don't know. But some of his stories are still interesting.
Yeah, I mean that was a huge thing, that movie. I mean I had barely heard about it just a little bit prior to the movie. I mean, maybe when it was in production or something. And it was also in relation to, it's not the same room as the other room.
Yeah. As Room.
Yeah.
If you get those two mixed up, you're going to have a problem.
Yeah.
This was also notably the last day that the second director of photography, Graham Futterfoss, worked on the film. Up to this point, they had to take a long break after their batteries ran low on all their equipment because they didn't have a generator. And Graham had demanded a generator multiple times, and Tommy didn't want to spend the money on it. And so when Tommy showed up the next day without a generator, Graham quit. And I believe they still didn't get a generator. So the third and final director of photography was stuck.
So like would they run out of battery power at a certain point each day after so much shooting?
And then because of the way Tommy ran his set, everyone would just have to sit there and wait.
Yeah.
Until the battery's charged again. And they're not buying extra batteries, they're not buying a generator to charge things faster or keep things plugged in, and so they're just screwed once the batteries die.
So a lot of fun downtime on the set.
Oh yeah, and then you have actors that might not even shoot that day that are required to be there. So, like, Carolyn Minot is on set, or near set anyway, every day of filming, of production, even though she's in, 4 scenes? Because Tommy wasn't a good planner. He might have been a worse producer than he was a director or a writer.
Oh no. Yeah, that's saying a lot. I mean, people kind of come out with like what set downtime was like. I mean, did the co-stars get along? Maybe not him specifically, but
some of them got along. The only ones that might not have got along were there was a couple that at this point were no longer working on the film. The original, I just hit a blank on Lisa's friend's name.
I've hit a blank on every character. I'm literally watching this. I'm like, who is this suited up man walking through the frame?
Robin Paris plays her in the film. What is her name? Mike and... Oh my god. And now I look up The Room, and there's a new movie called The Room that came out last year. Some foreign film.
So character-wise, are you talking about Michelle?
Michelle, yes. Yeah. Yeah, the original Michelle was, like, in a relationship with the original, quote-unquote, original Mark. Mm-hmm. But she quit when he sort of got forced out on day one of shooting. Mm-hmm. We talked about a bit of that a long time ago, though, because the scene they shot was the original version of the drug dealer scene, where they brought in Greg to film it, and Tommy claimed the producers wanted to see what Greg looked on camera, but the crew and other cast members slowly realized that while they were filming the original guy, whose name I don't know, I believe he's the only one in Greg Sestero's book that he doesn't name last name, like he doesn't let you know who he's talking about. They weren't running the cameras while he was filming, and then they ran the cameras when Greg came in to do the scene, and everyone realized that was deliberate, and Tommy was deliberately trying to not film the guy he had cast as Mark.
Oh, damn.
Then that guy basically quit, and original Lisa, wait, which one was it? I said original Michelle, didn't I? No, Lisa. I've forgotten this movie.
What's happening?
Juliet was cast as Michelle. The original Lisa quit, and then Juliet took the role of Lisa, and then Robin Paris came in to take over Michelle. Anyway, that was a while ago. We talked about it in better detail in a more earlier episode. We're here to talk about Denny on the floor.
And while he's on the floor, he's all of a sudden become a wedding coordinator.
Yeah. He's worried about everything.
Yeah. Lisa, you need to get your dress. It's only a month away.
Did you get your wedding gown yet?
No. I've got plenty of time.
Are you sure you have plenty of time? It's only a month away.
It'll be fine. What are you so worried about? Everything's okay.
Now, I generally now have made it a rule to ignore the supposed original script that you can find online because it's wrong. But I love this segment with Lisa and Billy Billy being Denny. She asks him in this version of the script, why are you sitting on the floor, Billy? And Billy says, it's hard to explain, you wouldn't understand. And then she screams, you son of a bitch, what the hell is the matter with you? You're the reason I drink. If you don't get up this instant, I'm going to belt whip you so hard you'll wish you were going to the moon. This script. I still wanted it to be real because of a couple things it did early on, but it's not.
Somehow I feel like that might have been like what was going, like the exact conversation behind the scenes. Like, what are you doing sitting on the floor? What, we have a couch, like there's a couch over there. No, there's lighting over. You wouldn't understand. It's because the door is here. Like, I'm just, that seems a little too on the nose.
When Sandy tells them to sit by the door, how does he get Tommy to go along with it? Is it like, it's already lit and it'll be fine? Does Tommy think it's normal to sit on the floor by the door for a conversation?
There's no money. It'll save money. It's fine. Like, we have sunlight.
That would get Tommy. Yeah.
Well, I think another possibility, maybe is, or how at least they could kind of also convince Tommy would be talking about how it seems like Denny is supposed to be younger than he is somewhat mentioned, somewhat seems to be.
Yeah, the character is roughly 18.
Yeah. So, and definitely younger kids will certainly sit on floors a lot more often than adults do.
Yeah, it makes him more of a kid. Yeah. He has to be taken care of. But then Lisa crouches down to talk to him, and it's just, she looks weird too, and it's just, stop it.
Are they besties? Is it just a annoying kid? Like I just think of like the Go Home Roger and Sister. Any Sister fans out there?
Go home, Roger!
Annoying neighbor kid, but...
If you take what Denny said about Elizabeth and how or his feelings for Lisa about the red dress, and then from Philip Haldeman's comic, that Denny was actively trying to get money, that's why he got involved with a drug dealer, to buy a similar dress for Elizabeth. His interest in Lisa's wedding gown is kind of weird. Because it's like, he wants to see that wedding gown so he can go buy one of those also for Elizabeth, and it gets even creepier. We've been talking since like minute one of this that Denny's a serial killer, and that's what this movie should have been, but this just adds to it. Although I don't know if serial killers actively sit on the floor.
I didn't know that was a trope. All serial killers
new serial killer trope.
Alright. Ted Bundy, where are you sitting,
And so the wedding is only a month away. We have come to think that means the wedding is in June, because just the previous scene they were talking about beta breakers, which I believe happens in May. And so they're having a nice June wedding, which is good for them. Classic.
But I love it. You don't have your dress. I have time. Well, wedding's in a month. Like, I could faint, like, at the thought of, like, every, bride gets it, not even 6 months in advance is probably pushing. I mean, maybe 6 months in advance. But, I love the nonchalant way, like, I have time. The wedding's in a month. Like, so chill. Like, don't worry about it. As if she's just gonna stroll into the nearest, I don't know, Sears and get a dress.
Buy one off the rack.
Yeah.
She's waiting for Tommy to just bring one home.
Is that an indication in a bride that, cold feet, or, the idea that in the back of her head somewhere, she's thinking, this isn't gonna happen.
Maybe.
It's gotta be.
Yeah. Well, and at this point she has already had sex with Mark and claimed that she doesn't love Johnny anymore. More than once, so.
She'll wear the red dress for her wedding. It'll be fine.
She'll go through with the wedding. She'll just not wear white. So basically she's just lying to Denny.
So every time you move, like, no, you're not pure or whatever, something like that.
And Denny wants her and Johnny to be happy, which is very sweet.
I just want you and Johnny to be happy.
And so my note there is her response is said in a fairly non-happy way. It's not the total opposite. It's not really angry or really sad, but it's not really that happy way of saying I am happy.
I am happy.
No, it doesn't come across as genuine.
No.
And then she's got to talk to Johnny, so she'll see him later, and Denny leaves and actually closes the door. And so then right at the end of this minute, we cut to the roof, but we don't get any of that scene yet.
Yep.
But yeah, I was trying to figure out, because I hadn't seen this movie in so long, and I was just like, wait, who is this man just walking? I could not, I was like, oh, there's just random suited up men in his house. Don't even blink.
Oh, you forgot it was Peter?
Oh yeah, I was like, who is this? Yeah, I was like, Philip? Like, I don't know.
And you mentioned the door closing, and that's that very next, the scene we cut to is with that Peter opening the door on the top of the roof.
Yeah.
That is cool. We're following a character.
Very symmetrical for once.
It's actually a better transition than the last one. When they got to this scene, it went from Tommy going up the stairs after setting up the recording on the phone, and it was edited as if we were following Tommy into the next room upstairs.
Oh.
As he walks into the living room, which we know is downstairs. It was a bad edit. This is actually a better edit, I think, because he closes the door, he opens the door. Peter takes us from one place to the other. Okay, then. Notes from Midnight Screening.
Notes from a Midnight Screening.
A lot of it is focused on that door because Mark leaves right at the beginning of the minute. First he says, I gotta work early. On a close-up, and someone screams in the audience, what do you do? We don't know what he does for a living. But then he leaves, he doesn't close the door, so the audience screams, close the door.
Will you close the fucking doors?
Peter comes there and leaves and doesn't close the door, so the audience will scream, close the door. Denny comes in, and they scream, close the door, because no one closes it again as he sits on the floor. Because of course Sandy's using the lighting, so there's a reason this time. But then when Denny gets up and leaves, and actually closes the door, the audience cheers.
I like the dramatic glow from the, I assume the window, or whatever, I don't even know what it is, it's like all the curtains, but that's just, even just the beginning, that close-up is very, very dramatic.
Oh, yeah.
Well, in previous to this minute, he was looking out the window.
Yeah.
Denny was.
Yep.
It's over there.
Yeah, we get this, the minute starts with those, 3 very close-up shots of Lisa, Denny, and Mark. And ends with Mark on the roof, sitting and smoking by the time Peter gets up there. Which we think Peter followed him from downstairs, and this is right after, I think. Yeah. But it doesn't really matter. We've got a month. It's plenty of time.
I've got plenty of time.
So, Eric, if the listeners would like to hear more of you talking about other things, where can they do so?
Oh yeah, well the 2 big things currently are both on the Pantheon Podcast Network. It's a rock and roll network, and there's the one that I do by myself pretty much, but I generally have co-hosts that come in each week and have a guest almost always as well. That's Almost Famous Minute, going through the Cameron Crowe 2000 film, that's fairly autobiographical, but does take some liberties too, I think. And then the second one with Zach Fracking Smith is Feels Like Weezer. So we're going track by track, song by song, through all of Weezer's catalog. And you can find them at pantheonpodcasts.com.
And Alice, if they want to hear more from you?
Yeah, so I'm on a plethora of podcasts. You can find them on my Twitter. Yeah, my Twitter is Alimej, ALIMEZH, and I am a panelist on the Now You've Seen It podcast, where we talk about movies with a guest who's never seen that movie. And Robert and I just started a new podcast that I don't remember the exact name of.
Greetings from Wonder Falls.
Greetings, okay, because I was like, welcome to Wonder Falls. I wasn't quite sure. But yeah, we just started recording Greetings from Wonder Falls about the 2004, not really a sitcom, but comedy, Wonder Falls. So that's amazing too, and you guys have to check that out.
So there's nothing wrong when people make fun of the project, in this case, The Room.
The Room Minute is a production of Lemming Drops Studio. You can find more content at lemmingdrops.com.
Follow The Room Minute on all the obvious social media. If you've got any stupid comments after the show,
you can leave them in your pocket on Facebook. If you like what you hear, throw us a rating and a review on your podcatcher of choice. Thank you for listening, and remember, if a lot of people loved each other, the world would be a better place to live.
Leave us!